Well, because of this meetup, I actually set up my website. My website called nomadicpatty.com, which is like, I should have done it like a long time ago. But anyways, my name is Patty. I actually met through Kendrick because we are in part of the same, I think it's a travel writing course or some group or something.
It's a Facebook group.
Yeah, it's a Facebook group. But so he was just asking me questions because he saw my pictures and everything. So I just kind of like told him, oh, I went on a trip for around 18 months on my own. And then so he was just like, wow, that's a quite experience. Maybe you should come to my one of my meetups. And I said, sure, okay. So so how many of you right now want to do like a long-term travel, but you cannot do it right now? Raise your hand. Okay, that's a lot. Okay. And how many of you actually hate your job right now?
I don't have that.
Okay, that's kind of okay, video is not like towards you. So I'm just gonna quickly pull up my presentation. Okay. Yeah. So this is nomadicpatty.com. I couldn't think of any more creative name because I didn't have time. So I should have time. I just don't have time to think. But anyway, so this is a picture that I went to Lençóis Maranhense in Brazil, like in north of Brazil. That I went there by myself, and then it was like the sand dune is like completely white. So it's very kind of difficult to get there, but you get there, it's like it's amazing. So a little bio about myself. I was born in Taiwan, so I wasn't native from here, but I came here in 1994, so it's been like over 20 years, right? Now you know how old I am. But anyway, so I studied like graphic design and multimedia, but I moved to Toronto for 15 years. I lived there, so I worked as a corporate web designer. I was getting paid a lot, and I was getting like really comfortable life over there. But for me, it's like I feel like this routine life of like going to 9 to 5, 9 to 5, 9 to 5. I'm not feeling I accomplish anything. I'm a big time computer nerd. Like I know everything about design. I know everything about like fixing websites and computers and stuff. But I don't know how to fix my own house or like doing some simple things. I just lack of life skill, like nothing. So I feel like this has to be broken. You can't just like just always doing this one job that you learn nothing about anything else, right? So at the end of 2011, I just go like, okay, I'm quitting my job and I'm going to go on travel on my own. But this wasn't like spontaneous. It was like I planned a little bit, yeah. So I came back in 2013, and I feel like I don't want to work in corporate world again. I don't want to do 9 to 5 anymore. I think people have a choice not to get just one single source of income. Just like Archie did, you can get 5 jobs and many little incomes. You don't need to have one. Like nobody tell you need to only have one. And we don't just pay bill and die. That's not how we're supposed to live. We're not supposed to be doing it. So I'm currently I'm an active stock trader, and I'm learning how to trade the market. So I go down to the core economy, and that's a stock market. It's very challenging. Risk. It's all about risk and risk management and everything. And if you think about the idea of risk management, it's the same thing how we look on life. Yeah, like if you don't take risks, you don't gain, right? The smaller risks we take, you only gain this much. But we only have one life. If you don't take risk, it's just like you don't get anything. So my goal at the end is just I'm hoping to be able to travel anywhere and work anywhere. I don't have to be here. I don't have to be here in the rainy Vancouver in winter time, right? So I need to get away from here. So, like I said, the reason why I quit my full-time job, I can tell you how cushion my job is. I work at 10 a.m. in the morning. I go into work at 10 a.m. in the morning, and then I go to the gym at 12, and then I get back from gym at 1:30, and then I work a little bit, and then I go home at 5. I was getting paid $70,000 a year for doing that, right? And then it was just like, it was comfortable, right? I got my own place and everything it's just comfortable, but it's boring. Like really, it's boring. It's just like once I save up enough money and everything, and I feel like, okay, this is not what I wanted to do. This is just like draining myself away, right? Because and then I realized that when money is no longer an issue in my life, I know I have choices. Okay, when you have enough financial cushion, you have choices. So I feel like I have to do this now or never. So this is actually from a Benjamin Button. Have you guys seen the movie Benjamin Button?
Wow.
So it's like, for what's worth, it's never too late to be whoever you want to be. I hope you live a life you're proud of, and if you find that you're not, and I hope you have the strength to start over again. So what I did is I just decided to go like, I'm gonna start over again. I don't wanna, because I hated to work as a 9 to 5, as a corporate person where I have no life skill, right? So this is like kind of like a little moment summary what I did on my 18-month travel. I hiked 4 days on Inca Trail to Machu Picchu. I spent 2 weeks learning Spanish, which is very important. If anybody want to go to South America, important Spanish. I learned Portuguese in Brazil, which is I forgot most of it, but I still remember Spanish. I traveled 8 days in Amazon jungle, and I hang glided in Rio, Brazil, and I paraglided in Turkey. And then I hiked the highest mountain in Southeast Asia called Mount Kinabalu, and then I dived total 87 times in Thailand, Maldives, Philippines, and Malaysia. Like I love scuba diving, so right now I'm already over 100 times, but I love it. And I rented a manual car in Croatia. I don't know how to drive it because it was so cheap. It was 18 euros a day. And then Croatia wasn't established enough for the tourism yet. Like you don't just go to a hostel, you can sign up to go somewhere. No, you don't. So I just figured it's more efficient for me to rent a car. But like automatic car costs like 50 euros a day. But while manual car is only 18 euros a day. I was like, okay, I'll take that and I'll take the risk. So I actually drove the whole coastline, took like beautiful pictures, and I did all the driving. I picked up like some hitchhikers from London, and then like I returned the car without a single day. And I learned how to drive a manual car. So, and I also rented a scooter in Croatia, but I wiped out. But I do know how to ride a motorcycle, but I don't know how to scooter. So. And I swam with the whale sharks, manta rays, sea turtles, and sea lions. Well, not exactly the same time, but a lot of places I went, I've seen all those creatures. And I took a hot air balloon ride in Cappadocia, Turkey. And I got lost in the middle of the mountain in Philippines and survived because I followed some European guy thinking like, we have to DIY everything. We can go hiking by ourselves in the middle of a little trail in Southeast Asia. No, don't do that ever. and then I spent 2 months training in Muay Thai kickboxing camp in Phuket, so Tiger Muay Thai kickboxing camp. So it was just like those are like kind of like memorable things I did on my 18-month trip. So how did I start? I started researching a bunch of different travel blogs. People have done it right now. So, but if you're gonna ask me like where I see my blog, where I see the blogs and everything, I'll tell you guys later on. So before 2 years before my around the world trip, this is like I said, my trip wasn't out of spontaneously. Like I had to plan a little bit, right? So 2 years before my around trip, I got a new job, and that's this job I took my spare time to do my intense research, and then I also sold all my useless belongings in my house. And I actually bought a house, a condo, pretty much like over 10 years ago, right? So every month I would put most of my paycheck in my travel fund and then take as much freelance work as possible. I was working full time during the day and then freelance at night. It was very brutal, but it was worth it. Because I go to work with my comfortable job. At night I come home and I do freelance until like midnight, right? So but my rate at the time was about like $50 an hour. So I rack it up, right? I try to rack it up as much as I can. So other than my own full-time job, I freelanced it, and then I basically sold all my stuff. But at the same time, I had a 2-bedroom condo when I was working full-time at the time. So I rented out my spare room to like Airbnb, like just put it on Craigslist and Kijiji, try to get as much cash as I can, right? And then so eventually, everything, when I left, I didn't sell my condo, because there's a reason for that, right? I didn't sell my condo, so I basically rented out furnished, as it is, right? Furnished is a fully rented like condo. So it will help me finance some of my my income when I'm traveling, because the condo was bought like 2005, so it was like it's under $300,000, right? So I have maybe after like I charge the rent and everything, I have maybe $1,000 going to my bank cash. Okay. So my property became my backup plan if I ever run out of money. So the money, if you guys try to save, usually what people like me, I'm a traditional I save first and I go travel and stuff like that. You try to pay yourself first, okay? And you don't just take the money. And the difference between most people and the rich people is they pay themselves first. You make sure your bank account has reached certain amount of percentage every single month. You make a goal and go like, this month I'm gonna add another, I don't know, $500. So you always make sure you pay yourself first, and then the rest money is your spending money. That's the goal you're supposed to do when you try to save up to do a trip like this, right? So before the trip, I have to mental check myself if I have to do this or not, because this is like a big deal. I'm quitting my full-time job, no longer something called security, right? So I also have to set up my financial cushion, which is like after I come back, I have to make sure I have a place to live. I still have have some sort of money left and stuff like that. I also set up a will, so I make sure if anything happened to me, somebody get my money or my condo, which is my payment. But and then at the same time, because like I said, I had a condo, so I set up a home line equity or credit. I got a 2 highest credit cards possible when I still have a job. The benefit of the card will come in handy, which means, like for example, Kendrick said, you need travel hacking, like you get points and stuff like that. If you want to do this long-term trip, start saving your points. You want to save your, get your flyers point as much as you can right now. Like just try to rack it in when you still have a full-time job, because when you have a full-time job, you have credit. When you have credit, you can actually borrow things, right? So do that. And then I set up 2 different bank accounts and 1 online account. So for example, I set up a Scotia Bank and a TD Bank, and then a Tangerine. So both of the bank accounts will connect it to the online one. So it will, so I would have most of my cash in my online one. And when I have to take out money, I put it to either my TD or Scotia Bank. The reason being is because when you go overseas, most of the time you're gonna take out money from ATM. And with the ATM is you have a problem is like sometimes it's gonna eat your card. And this happens. This is not like this is not unreal something. One of your card probably gonna get compromised, and you don't want to stop your trip because one of your bank card got compromised. So I would always recommend at least 2 bank accounts. And the reason I use TD and the reason I use Scotia Bank is Scotia Bank has a lot of connection. Outside overseas, they have like alliances with other bank. So when you withdraw money, you really don't pay that $5 withdrawal fee, whatever. And with the TD is like if you have a $5,000 sitting in a checking account, you get yourself a TD all-inclusive account, which is give you when you take out money from an ATM, they don't charge you $5 withdrawal fee, nothing. And then they give you